Good afternoon and welcome to our weekly live coaching. My name is Heather Cameron and welcome to the Bold and Successful Women Business Owners group. I go live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. to really give you some live coaching, some information that can help you. And today's topic is one of these activities that you need to be doing every day, and that is 10 plus sales generating activities that you can do and why they're so important. So for those who don't know me, my name is Heather Cameron of IgniteYourMark.com, and my passion is to help women business owners create their client getting system that moves strangers to paying clients, because without paying clients, we truly are not in business. And when I say systems, I don't mean automatic. I mean things that you can capture, repeat, improve, and get results for your business, which will allow you to work smarter, less time to get the results that you want. So if you're listening live, say hi, do hashtag live. If you're listening to the replay, hashtag replay, and let me know what I can do to help you and how we can really delve into this sales generating activities. Now I'm just going to make sure I'm live. If anybody saw me kind of stop by a little while ago, Facebook's doing something weird and it showed me live in the wrong way, and I didn't want to, I wasn't giving any information about what I was doing. So I'm live now. Hopefully I can see your comments and I want to get started. So what are sales generating activities? You know, we hear that term a lot, and sometimes we think the only thing that's a sales generating activity is in the moment that we're getting the money or collecting the money, and that's not the intent of a sales generating activity. It's something that you can, the best way to think about it is, can you see a logical path from what you're doing to making a sale? Can you attach the activity that you're doing to making a sale? Now, I'm not implying that we do sales generating activities. That's the only thing we do. Absolutely not. But every day we should be doing sales generating activities, and they should be a priority. So can you attach what you're doing to actually making a sale? And if you can't attach it, or if the number of steps between what you're doing and when it's actually going to happen is like so far removed, then that's not a sales generating activity. If you can attach it to, yes, if I do this, then there's the possibility of bringing a lead in, the possibility of bringing a prospect in, that leads me to creating a sale. If everything works out correctly, then that's a sales generating activity. It doesn't mean the activity is going to guarantee we get a sales. It just means that it's part of our process, part of our system to get a sale. And that's what a sales generating activity is. And when we, so for example, this morning I spent more time than I wanted to looking at an office chair because my office chair isn't working. Now that's not a sales generating activity. It's okay that I did it because I'm doing other sales generating activities like this. This is part of my sales process, coming live, sharing information, building know, like, and trust. That's part of my sales process. So that's a sales generating activity. But shopping for a new chair was not a sales generating activity. It's important. I need to do it. I need to find time to do it, but it's not a sales generating activity. And that's a real far removed one. But there's lots of in-between stuff that kind of busies our time, and a day goes by and really we never did a sales generating activity. And social media is a real consumption of that, right? We can spend time looking or hunting or listening to somebody's webinar or doing all of those things, and they're all part of growing our business. But if we're sacrificing our sales generating activities to do that, then we're sacrificing our business success. So if you're online, say hi. If you listen to the replay, hashtag replay. I want you to think about this as we go through it. Because I said 10 plus sales generating activities, there are many more than 10, right? And your business may have some unique sales generating activities that I haven't even thought of, right? So there are many more than this. But what are sales generating activities? What are the things that are going to help you get sales? And how can you implement and do these on a continual basis? So thank you for those who are joining me live. I see some eyeballs there. I don't always see messages with Facebook, so if you have messaged or said anything and I don't hear it or answer it, I will go back and answer it later, as long as I see it. So think about, one thing to do to really capture this is do your own time audit. It's kind of a really eye-opening thing to do, is to say, I'm not going to do any big changes right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to audit my time for a couple of days. And I'm going to write down, at least at a micro level, maybe at a half an hour level, audit your time and say, what did I do today? What did I do in this half hour? What did I do in that half hour? And then give it a rating from 1 to 5 as to whether or not the things that you did were actually sales generating activities. And it's a real eye-opener thing because we get busy work. I love Canva, for example. I love going in Canva, creating graphics, and I can get really into that. If that graphic's not going up, and if I'm taking a huge amount of time creating the graphics and I'm never posting, I'm not doing the sales activity, then creating the graphic itself is not a sales generation activity. Posting the graphic, putting it out there, interacting with people, doing that, those are more sales generating activities than actually creating the graphics. So it's about balance. It's balancing our time. And what I suggest is that you give yourself a goal. So number one, audit your time. Really, spend a couple of days and just audit your time and see what you're actually doing and check how many sales generating activities you're doing a day. And then aim for more. So if you find you're really not doing anything, then I would aim for one sales generating activity every day, and it's your most important thing. It's your non-negotiable. You're going to get it done. If you're doing a couple, I would get it up to 5+ sales generating activities a day. That's what you want to be doing. You want it to be your number one priority is what am I doing today to get a sale? Because let's face it, if we want, the number one answer to the questions when people join this group of what they need in their business is all more clients. That is by far, it's like last time I checked it, I think it was 80% of the people who joined the group, their number one want was more clients in their business, getting clients to be easier, all of that. That's sales, right? And sales is not a dirty word. Sales is something, if you've chosen to be in business, you need to sell. And selling doesn't have to be the sleazy car salesman that we all have in our mind. Selling is of service. And so the more, transformation happens in the transaction. So when you actually sell, you are helping somebody solve or satisfy the want, solve the problem they have or satisfy the want they have by giving them the solution and the option to buy it. They don't have to buy it from you, but you are giving them the solution and the option to buy it. And one of the things I often talk about is hitting the sweet spot. And the sweet spot is lost my words. The sweet spot is somebody knows, likes, and trusts you. Your offer is in front of them and they are ready to buy. But if we aren't doing those know, like, and trust offer in front of them and helping nudge the ready to buy, then it's not going to happen. They're going to buy from somebody else. So sales activities are so important. And always think about what you're doing, how removed it is from that. It's core part of our business is sales activity. If we're not selling, we can't be in business. It's as simple as that. We have an expensive hobby. So let's go through a list. I wrote down, I was at 14. And like I said, there's a lot of sales generating activities that I don't do that you may think of that aren't something that fit my business model or I haven't seen with a client. So it's not just 15. There are many, many sales generating activities. And these are in no order. They're just in what came to me as I was doing it. So if you're listening live or you're listening to the replay, type some sales generating activities that you think of as sales generating activities. So the first one is that I have down is email your list. If you've got a list that's responsive or you have a list that's large, emailing your list to build, know, like, and trust, emailing your list strategically to build, know, like, and trust, emailing them an offer. I send an email out and my PS, even if my email is just purely informational, my PS is a call to action to book a call. That's a sales generating activity. I'm building, know, like, and trust, and I have a call to action to book a call. I also email my list when I'm doing something with explicit calls to action to buy or book something. So emailing your list can be a sales generating activity. When it's not is when you're always emailing just know, like, and trust stuff and you're never asking for the sale. You're never giving them an opportunity and you expect them to know what you do. That's not necessarily a sales generating activity. But strategically emailing your list to build, know, like, and trust, to make a soft offer, to make an explicit offer is a sales generating activity. Number 2 is direct messaging. So on Facebook Messenger, on Instagram, direct messaging, on LinkedIn, they all have a message thing. And it's not messaging somebody you've never met and say, hey, can I help you do this? I had one of those yesterday. Somebody I've never met, they reached out and friended me. We had common friends, so I accepted. And the first thing I get is a message about, hey, if you need this, call me. That's not being of service. That's kind of the old sleazy side of sales. But you can use direct messaging to be of service. So I can give an opposite example of that, where someone I've been following for a long time, I've commented on her posts, and she finally reached out and said, hey, how are you? Right? Really nice to virtually meet you. How are you? How are things going? At no point did she ever push a sales, but she used direct messaging to build a relationship. And as a result, I have bought from her. I have bought very strategic products from her because she set up the environment in direct messaging to make it a sale of service, not that sleazy sales method that we all kind of recognize. So direct messaging can be hugely powerful. I know people who have built crazy successful businesses on Instagram, for example, with only using direct messaging. So direct messaging is a really powerful sales activity when you use it to build a relationship and then offer the sales when it makes sense. Number 3 is booking a discovery call. So however you have a call to action, if you're booking a discovery call, you're getting on the phone and calling somebody, which I didn't actually have here, but you're on the phone talking to somebody. Obviously, that's a sales generating activity, right? So if your social media and other activities you have going on have resulted in booking calls, then having the call is the final step of your sales process. So that's a really important sales, generating activity, and you can prioritize these. One of the things I like to do to work with my clients is really map that out, right? Where, how does somebody move from being unaware of you and you unaware of them? I call it the unaware stage, to being a client. They have to go through certain stages. And your discovery call is kind of the last stage if you use discovery calls. You don't have to use discovery calls. People can close business in the DMs. They can close it through a landing page, but you got to recognize what step people are in. But so different content and activities happen to move people through that. But the discovery call or having a call is a great sales generating activity. I'm working on a launch. So if you plan to launch a new product or service and create excitement and some buzz, maybe you're doing a challenge, maybe you're just doing one webinar or something like that, then working on that is a sales generating activity as long as you have committed dates. So if you're working on a launch but you have no committed dates, it can turn into busy work and not sales generating work because you don't have a date, you don't have a deadline, you don't have a commitment to turning into something that actually generates sales. So the launch itself is the sales generating activity. You need to work on it to do the launch, but you've got to have committed dates to make that happen so that you know that you're in it. So working on the launch, and then number 5 would be the launch itself. Right? If you're in the midst of a launch and you're launching something, that's an awesome sales generating activity. Done right, you can really generate a lot of sales. And you can use launches to launch one-on-one products. You can use launches to launch anything, really. A launch is really just a focused event that highlights your product, builds know, like, and trust, and makes an offer. That's what a launch is. There's a lot of terminology out there that makes it sound sophisticated and crazy and kind of intimidating, but that's all it is. It's highlighting it. It's putting some focus and some intention on all the communications that you're going to do during that period of time. And like I said, if you're listening live or you're on the replay and you have any questions about any of these, let me know. But if you have other ideas about lead generation activities, please type them in. And I might not see your comments because I always have this problem with Facebook Lives when I do them in the group. And I put an event up before, it seems to put me in different places, but that's my technical issue. Number 6 is hold an event. And so a launch can be a big, sophisticated thing, but you can actually just hold an event. There's a coach I follow, and every last Thursday of the month, she does a webinar. And she's consistent with it. So it's the same time, all the time. Every last Thursday of the month, she does a webinar. And she makes an offer. She's very successful with this model and the webinar doesn't change a lot. She's got like 2 or 3 that she cycles through, but that's a sales generating. She she has a very large list, but she sends out a couple of emails. She gets people on there. She does her pitch. She makes sales, and she puts it on rinse and repeat, which is what a system's all about, right? So she can tweak it and improve it and does that. So that's one of her sales generating activities, is to create and do an event. I did an event last week, the week before, a masterclass series. So I did a 4-day masterclass series. That's an event. Challenges are events. All of these things are events that help pique interest. They build know, like, and trust. They put the offer in front of them, and they also allow you to tweak objections. So events can be really powerful, and they can be whatever you want. They can be a single webinar. They can be a 5-day challenge, a 2-day challenge, a 4-day challenge, a 30-day challenge, right? It's whatever you want, but it's holding an event that highlights it. And it makes it easy. It puts you in the mode of service. So when you put a lot of content into your event, even a single webinar, and you put value in that, you're in service. And then if people want to continue working with you, if they're interested in what you're doing, then that event creates a really great environment for that to happen. So events are a great way to generate sales. The next one is create an email sales campaign special. So I did this, I usually do it on Valentine's Day. I may do it more often, but I have one program that I launch on Valentine's Day, and I do it like a 4-day Blitz email special. There's a special price involved in it for Valentine's Day. It's only email. It only goes to my list. There are posts on social media, so somebody who's following me on social media may see it as well, but the real focus is a special offer to people on my list. That's a great way. It's a quick way to generate revenue. If you have a responsive list, doing an email campaign to your list is a great way to generate sales. And it works. It can work for any level of pricing, any level of product, and you can do the same on social media, right? It's basically saying for these 4 days, I'm going to do a blowout sale. I'm going to do a special sale for this time frame. Black Friday is really what that is. A lot of people do Black Friday specials, but this is doing it when no one else is. And that's what really helps. You can do the Black Friday one because you want to jump on everybody's bandwagon and people are in the mode to spend. But it's also a really effective way to generate sales at any time of the year by putting a special on. And it makes people feel that you're treating them well. They get a special, they get a good deal. So doing just an email campaign or a social media campaign with a special, and I would choose which one works based on your own audience. If you have a good email list and a responsive email list, you can generate cash by sending a special to them. If you have a great social media following, because I know people who don't have email lists, they haven't focused on that. They get all their sales through social media and direct messaging. And I know people who focus 100% on their email list and get all their sales that way. So whichever works, it's about doing a special. And that's a really effective way to generate sales. Ask for referrals. So if you have old clients, it's a great way to reach out to your old clients and ask for referrals. Ask for referrals for people who know, like, and trust you, but may not be ready to buy from you. Do they know somebody who can do that? So how can you build asking for referrals into your not every day, but your monthly sales activities? So how can you ask for referrals in your monthly sales activities? How can you build that in as a habit? That's another great way to generate sales. Be a guest. Be a guest is an awesome way to expose yourself, maybe not the right word, but to expose yourself to another audience and to offer some way of bringing them into your world. So be a guest on a podcast is an awesome way to do it. So in that case, lots of podcast people are looking for guests. So you create a few topics, you go out and reach out to people, you book yourself on a podcast, and during that time, you make an offer for usually a freebie, or they at least share your information about your website and how they can reach out to you. That is an awesome way to spend a fairly little amount of time and book yourself as a guest. Another place to be a guest is best speakers at events. I was last month or the month before, I was a guest speaker on social media at a meetup, so a virtual meetup. I was a guest speaker on that, and I've done that a lot in person and virtually. Be a guest in somebody else's Facebook group. Look for Facebook groups that encourage you to do that. Look for opportunities. Be a guest on a summit. Be a guest contributor to a giveaway, right? All of those ways are great ways to generate sales. It's the first step in your process, but you can connect that to the sales, right? So you're a guest on a podcast, somebody listens to your podcast and they love what you say. So they go and download your freebie, they get on your list, they come to your next event and they buy from you, right? That's seeing, I can see the line of why that works, right? So being a guest is really good. Networking. Now, where the world is opening up again, hopefully. It's opened a lot in other places. I'm in Ontario, Canada, and we're just slightly opening up starting this week. But when networking events, virtually or in person, is another great way. That's a sales generating activity if you're going there with the right mindset. So you can go to a lot of networking events and not generate any sales because that's not your intention. And that's okay. If you're networking with peers, your intention may not be to generate sales, but really being strategic about networking. And I could do a whole video just on how to be strategic about networking. That can be a really great way to generate sales. Social media posts, being consistent with sharing stuff on social media, posting in other groups intentionally. So not just posting a quote, but intentional posts with a call to action. And sometimes they're just no like and trust posts. So yesterday I posted in 5+ groups what I call a long story post. And there was no call to action in it except for themselves. But that's purely intended to make somebody interested in me. So they click on my link, they go check out my profile, they come and join my Facebook group, they download my freebie. There's an intention to those posts and they're very powerful. So I would like to get to the consistency where I'm doing them consistently. I'm working on that. But social media posts, or you can have a social media post that says, hey, I have a freebie that lets you do X. There's so many things you can do on social media, but consistency is king. But you want to do your social media posts with the intention of being part of your sales process, part of your customer journey. So some social media posts, the intention is just to pull people in. It's to get the unaware to become aware of you. And those ones are not heavy sales, but you might be posting in a different place where you're going to have a stronger call to action. So being aware of which ones they are, taking advantage of when people say, post your offer. Maybe nobody's going to read it, but if you don't post it, nobody's going to read it. If you do post it, maybe somebody will. So taking advantages of all those opportunities, but being strategic, really focus on your social media plan. It needs to have intent and it needs to look at all the stages of a customer journey. When they're unaware of you and you're unaware of them, then you have the lurkers who are aware of you, but you're not aware of them. And then you have the moment where you become aware of them. And so what are your actions? What social media posts? What things are you doing for all of those stages to bring them to however you do a sale? Buy off my website, book a discovery call, come to my launch. There's a whole bunch of different stages, but you want to bring them into that. So social media exists and is a really powerful way to make sales, but not when you're not strategic or consistent. So you want to really think about your social media posts. And when you do, they're a lot easier to create and they're much easier to reuse when you create that type of content. Excuse me, I'm just going to get a glass of water. The next one is go live. Like I'm doing today, right? This is part of my sales process. I'm not making an offer today per se. If you want to talk about how to implement this to your business, I would love for you to book a call and I will send you a link and we can get on a call for free and talk about how this works for your business. That's part of my sales process, right? So to be transparent, this is a sales activity for me because it builds know, like, and trust. It gives people an opportunity to book a call if they want to. And I'm showing up as service, recognizing that if you want this and you want to implement in your business, then maybe it makes sense for you to buy one of my products or services, right? So that's an example. And you can go live in your own group. You can go live on your personal profile. You can go live on Instagram. There's so many opportunities to go live. I don't know if you can go live in LinkedIn. I need to get to know LinkedIn better. But there's so many opportunities for you to go live and share your content and build that know, like, and trust and bring in the lurkers, right? Get people to be aware of you, even though you may not be aware of them, and show your expertise and create the curiosity, have a call to action, and build your list from there. So that's a sales generating activity. They're all things that are moving towards sales. Number 12, probably one of the most important ones that I find is challenging for a lot of people. It's follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, right? So if somebody's been interested and engaged in something that you've done, don't just communicate once. You need to follow up, follow up, follow up. There's lots of studies out there. Some people will say it's 7 follow-ups. Some people will tell you it's 10. The reality of it is it's more than 1. It's more than 5, right? You have to keep following up. You have to keep, because we're all trying to hit that sweet spot where they know, like, and trust you, your offer's in front of them, and they're ready to take action. And follow-up is about nudging that ready to take action. You can address what's holding them back. Maybe they haven't had time to think about it, whatever. That follow-up is what's going to nudge that ready to take action to actually taking action, if that makes sense for them to work with you or buy from you. So follow-up is really key for sales activity. Number 13 or 14, whatever number I'm up to, I think I injected one in there, is partners. So think about, a great sales generating activity is to figure out maybe making a partnership. And it doesn't have to be formal. But for example, if one of my clients deals with debt, right, helping women get out of debt, if that's the case, then what partners could she have who would complement her? And then she can invite them to be guests. She can be a guest in their audience. They can create some sort of partnership, formal or informal. Affiliate marketing is a way a lot of people online use partners. But there are many ways that you can forge partnerships so that when somebody's on top of mind, so for example, if somebody wanted to design a website, I often, I don't do websites. I could, but it's not my job. It's not my business. It's not my core competency. But I do know people who do. So if somebody says, oh, Heather, who could help me design a website? Then I'm going to refer them to that. That's kind of a partnership, right? And so hopefully they refer business people who need business coaching to me, right? Come into my group, that kind of thing. So partnerships can be really powerful if they're very formal, but they can also be very powerful just in an understanding. Do a list growth event. One of my favorite ones. So a great sales generating activity is to build your list, because I know so many entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs that I talk to, who have great products and services that kind of doing all the right stuff, but their audience is tiny, 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 and they need to explode their list. They need to grow their list. And there's lots of ways to do that. And so it's actually investing in it and growing their list. It doesn't even have to be a launch per se. Usually what I recommend, depending on the activity that you're doing, you might do a list building activity and then plan an offer or a launch or an event after that to your new list, right? You want to give them something special. But list building activities, number one, can be just, going every day and sharing your freebies in new groups and new opportunities. That's a simple one. It's not going to give you huge growth, but it's a simple one, and it does give you consistent growth. Number two would be to do, you could do a challenge. You could do some sort of event where you're inviting people in. And again, on a challenge, I'd recommend a sales at the end of it. But if you just really want to grow your list, you could do a challenge with a quick call to action at the end. And if you get the challenge right, you can exponentially grow your list. A giveaway. A giveaway is an awesome way to grow your list. And basically what a giveaway is, and one of my clients just did that, and she's like, you got to write a program about this, so I may do it. A giveaway is inviting other people into a group. Typically, you want to get around 20. You can go from 10 to 30 people who will offer something that they're going to give for free. And basically, we're leveraging each other's audience. It's kind of a partnership arrangement. We leverage each other's audience. And it's an event that happens over a couple of days. So there's not a lot of work to host it. You need to do a couple of websites, a couple of pages, and you can use many tools to do that. And then a couple of emails. The bigger work is getting the people to come in and provide the information, but you can double, triple, quadruple your list by doing that if you're strategic about who you invite in. And it's not as much work as the next one, which we hold a summit. Summits are awesome. They're great ways to do list build. They're great ways to make money off of the summit itself, but you are bringing speakers in. So there's another level of activity that has to happen, but all of them are great sales generating activities to grow your list and then strategically make an offer. So they're kind of that first part of pulling in the unaware people. They're not aware of you. Let's pull as many as we possibly can in. And then when they become aware of you and you're now aware of them because they've given you your email address, you can nurture that relationship and move them from unaware to aware, to a prospect, to a lead, to a sales. Now, it's a numbers game. You may only get 10% of them who are going to buy from you. But if you can bring in 1,000 people, 10% is a pretty big number. If you can bring in 100, 200 people, that's 200 people more than you had on your list before. And depending which type of event you choose, it's an investment of your time, but it's an investment of your time to a measurable outcome. So doing sales generating activities like that, list build activities is a great sales generating activity because it's going to give you that exponential list. And then you have that list to sell to as your list grows. Because if your list isn't growing, it's getting stale and it's shrinking because people unsubscribe. If somebody's been on your list for a really long time and they're not engaging, they may not even know they're on your list. Maybe you're in their spam or they've got some filters in place and they don't even look at it. But eventually you've kind of sold out your list. They're not buying now. Maybe they'll buy in a couple of years. Maybe they won't. Maybe they're just there because they love what you have to say, but they're not really interested in buying. You need to be consistently growing your list to create more sales. So that's a big event, but it's a sales generating activity. And going back to what I said when I first started this, you need to be doing at least one a day on average. But ultimately you want to be doing 5 sales generating activities a day in the sense that you're working for them. So let's say you decided you were going to do a giveaway. Well, each day you want to be working on that giveaway with a date in there. But beyond that, you still want to do active sales generating activities each day. I know, like reach out to new people, post on social media, book a guest. There's a friend of mine who decided she was going to be, I think it's 50. She went for 52 guest appearances on podcasts this year. So every day she's working on booking those, and she exceeded her expectation and booked more than half of them by April. So she's booking them, and then she's also promoting them when they come up. So she's strategically building her environment, getting people to know, like, and trust her by being a guest, but she's being really strategic about it. And so how are you doing that? And if you're on live, say hi. But also, and if you're saying hi and I can't see your comments, I apologize. But what other sales generating activities do you have? Another one might be attending a trade show, depending on your business, right? That's a fantastic sales generating activity on the business that you have. Another one might be giving it's kind of along that email campaign, but if you have a product and service, a sales generating activity, if you have a physical product, a sales generating activity might be a discount or a buy one, get one free, especially if it's something that's consumable and they're going to buy it more often. Then having, promoting a special discount is also very powerful. And that kind of falls into one of the ones that I said about doing like an email campaign. But it's a little bigger than that, where maybe you have it on your business page, right? Sign up first, new customers get this. New customers, hi Liz. New customers get 10% off. New customers, buy one, get one free. Trying to think of other ones, a free sample, right? There's a whole bunch of things you could do in your sales generating activity with a physical product. I mean, let's face it, as a coach, discovery calls are samples. It's kind of like a taste sample as you walk through Costco or some place. When we do discovery calls, or we do however we call that, we're basically giving people a sample of our coaching style to see if they want to work with us, right? And we're also testing to see if they're a good fit, but it really is a sampling, right? But so if you have a physical product or something that's like that, how can you, especially if it's consumable, i.e. they keep wanting to buy more, how can you give them some incentives to buy from you the first time? And if you do have something you have a loyal audience, you have something where they buy again, then that would be another sales generating activity, is to have specials for your existing audience frequently. And I don't know, depending on your market, that may be once a week. You may have Tracy, who may or may not be on here. Tracy has a Wacky Wednesday deal for her clients. So Tracy basically shows and highlights something for them every week and gives them a special incentive to go out and buy that, because what she does is consumable. It gets used. So think about ways that you can do that. That's another way to create a sales generating activity. The list is endless. Like I said, I'm not identifying every single one. Upselling to your existing clients, depending on what you do, that's also a sales generating activity. My whole point of this was, it's so important. If you want to be in business, you need to make sales. Now, eventually, depending on the type of business, you may flip a little bit to delivering more than sales. But from my own personal experience, if you're not selling all the time, if you're not doing sales generating activities, then all your clients can disappear. This happened to me. All of your clients can disappear in a matter of a month. So what happened to me, completely unexpected, and I didn't have anybody in my queue because I wasn't doing sales generating activities. I was networking like a queen, but I was doing it without purpose. So people knew me, but they didn't actually know what I did. I wasn't purposely doing my networking. I was very well established. I was on the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce, but I wasn't sales focused because I didn't think I needed to be. But hindsight being 2020, I could have really had a much better outcome had I kept my eye on the sales generating activities. So I want to encourage you to do that, to keep your eye, plan out, make sure that you're doing sales generating activities. So one way to start this is, like I said, audit your time, number one, and see when you are selling and when you're doing busy work. When you're busying yourself out, that you feel productive, but you're really not selling. So audit your time, do a simple half an hour, audit each half hour, give yourself a rating from 1 to 5. What was the sales and what wasn't? And what really wasn't, there was no direct link to what you were doing to actually getting sales in your business. That's an important one. Like when I started out saying I shop for a chair today, that has nothing to do with sales. It's important for my business, but in all honesty, getting a new chair to sit on is not going to get me a sale. It might make me more comfortable. And I have to do that, but recognizing it. So I still need to do other sales generating activities today. This is one, but if I do to my count of 5 a day, I still have time in my day to get my 5 in. And so by being more aware of it and giving yourself a goal and asking yourself, did I do 5 sales generating activities today? And was I purposeful in the path that people go through? And then list your 10 sales generating activities. What do you do? What are 10 things you do to do sales? What are 10, 15, whatever number it is you want, but list out your sales generating activities. Create a list so that you can use that as, I've got to do some sales today. What do I go do? Well, I haven't done this. I haven't talked, let's say another one, I haven't followed up with past clients in over a month. That would be a really good sales generating activity for me to do this week. I did something 2 weeks ago and wait a second, I didn't follow up with everybody. I'm going to go off and do that. So think about it. Having that list in front of you, sometimes we just forget. Sometimes our minds wander. We don't think, we forget. We don't know what our sales generating activities are and we don't do them. So when we just forget about our sales generating activity, having your own list, take the 10 that I put down and I always turn these. So this is a lesson on reusing content. I will turn this into a blog and I will send this blog with the list of 10 things to my list, not this Friday, probably next Friday. Oops. I keep getting that my video is interrupted, so hopefully that's okay. Probably next Friday. So make your own list of 10. Listen to what I said. You can go back and watch the video if you're just joining or if you're listening to the replay, and write down your 10 sales generating activities and give yourself a goal. How many are you going to do per day, per business day? And then keep increasing that. Get to the point where you're doing 5 to 10 a day. That will exponentially grow your business. And it will also help you fix the things that aren't working, right? So if you're doing something and you're focused on it and you're doing it repeatedly and you're not getting necessarily the results that you want, then that's the opportunity to go back and figure out what's not working. Maybe it's a mindset shift you need to make. Maybe it's just a tweak here or there. There's so many things, but if you're not doing it consistently and you haven't recognized the system you're using, it's hard to fix it. So that consistency and doing that's going to grow your business is so important. And that's what I wanted to cover today. So if you have any questions, let me know. And if you really want to talk about your sales generating activities, if you want to talk about how you move somebody from a stranger, I don't know what was going to come out of my mouth, a stranger to a paying client, you need to map that out. You need to understand that people go from unaware to lurkers to you being aware of them. So unaware is neither of us are aware of each other. Lurkers are people who are aware of you. They're following you. They're reading your information, but you have no idea they're there. And then awareness is when you become aware of them. And then how do you move that moment is when you kind of take control and you're trying to move them from that to prospect to a sales. Great. Well, thanks, Kim. Yes, listen to the playback and really think about what your sales generating activities. I think I had 14 written down and I think I went to 15 or 16, which just tells you there are more and more. because you are going to do them authentically. One I never thought about, Kim, and you just popped in my mind, is write an article. So if your audience reads publications, and an article doesn't have to be printed, it could be on someone else's blog, it could be on your own blog, you could guest blog somewhere. So sharing your expertise and writing an article and having that published, quote unquote, because it could be published online, is a great sales generating activity, right? It's a start. It's thinking about that first stage. You're trying to pull people in to become aware of you, and you're building the know, like, and trust for people who are aware of you, but you're not aware of them. So that's just another one. So that's 17, I think. So I'll have to count them after I listen to this and turn it into a blog. But think about that. Those are sales generating activities. So write them down. So number one, audit your time. See what you're doing. Be honest with yourself. You don't need to share it with anyone. So be honest with yourself about how many sales generating activities you're doing. Audit them, rank them, list out your top 10, and then really focus on doing them every day. Hi, Linda. Haven't seen you in ages. Thank you for joining. Write them down. Choose them and try to do at least one a day. Try to get up to 5 a day. I have a goal that I will share. I will do social media sales generating activities at least 5 to 10 a day. And it's strategic. I have groups that I'm strategic in. I take opportunities to post on the post where people say, share your freebie, share your group, share your offer. But I also strategically go in and create my own posts. Excuse me. And then I have planned sales generating activities that I do. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you guys for joining me live. If you're listening to the replay, #replay. And I will be back next week at 3 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday for another topic. And if there's any topics you would like me to cover, if there's anything I talked about today that you'd rather you think would be valuable to go into more detail, let me know. I'm happy to go into more detail for that as well. So if there's other topics you want or other things you want to learn, let me know. I usually have a bunch of topics on my mind, and it's good to have direction if there's something particular that somebody wants to learn. So thank you, ladies. Have an amazing day, and we will talk to you later. Bye.